Sainers, how's it going? You know how it's going when I'm waving this around. What a fantastic win. If you don't already know, and pardon me, my throat's a bit sore from the game, from chatting to a number of Sainers on the fan cams, which is already out on YouTube, by the way. The final score was Saints 93 to Sydney 64. It was a 29-point victory. Yep. To any of you Sainers who just commented during the week, because there were a number of Sainers that just said, nah, we're no chance, let's give up. Let's give up on the season. We're going to get battered by 10 goals. Franklin's going to kick 15. He's going to get his 1,000th. All those people that commented all that crap and didn't have any belief in the team, just keep watching. Because I was surprised too. We were all surprised. You know, if you weren't surprised about that performance, you are a very, very confident Saints fan, and there's not many of them going around at the moment. With the players who were missing, Dougal Howard not at fullback, Hunter Clark missing as well, plus the other injuries, no Paddy Ryder. There was so much that needed to, so much of this performance needed to come from players that haven't really had that much exposure or experience. And you're talking Connolly, Burns, Highmore, Mckenzie, Sharman. It's across the board that there's all these new faces because of the injuries that we've had. And they lifted, they delivered, plus everyone else. It was the ultimate team performance. We won every quarter, which is something I don't think I can really say about, many other games this year, apart from maybe a couple. But we won every quarter against a team that's won 5 in a row and was looking for a chance to make top 4. So, firstly, I love that we've stuffed that chance up. They may still make top 4, but we've just halted that for another week, which is great. But we've also kept our season alive, and we get to challenge Geelong next week, which is exciting to hopefully keep our season even more alive and keep this momentum going. But on tonight, it was just a great performance. To see Jack Steele do what he does every week was fantastic. But we're all too used to that. It was the Sharmanator, or I'm going to call him the Showman. Sharman the Showman. He was great. He set the tone early. He kicked a goal from an impossible angle. Drop punt. He's a good shot. He kicked one on the full, but generally his ball drop and his style is really clean. But I think what he brings to the team more than anything is football smarts, and he just has an understanding of where he needs to be and when he needs to go. And you look at all the the passages where he's involved. He's leading up with the ball. He's got space. He knows his timing on the lead is perfect. The first goal that he kicked, it was a great mark first of all, but the fact that he identified that space in front of him and he made himself a target. And I thought, to be fair, he was going to be a decoy most of the time. But there were a lot of the times where it was too obvious. You weren't going to ignore him because he made the space. His lead was perfect and it was in a great part of the ground. And for someone to do that in his second game on a fairly good backman, Sydney have a fairly disciplined backline. For him to do that is fantastic. And what that does is spread belief across the rest of the team. It distracts the other defenders, and it means that they can't really just focus on Max King and Membry because Sharman's getting off the chain and kicking a goal early and getting on the end of a few. So I thought that was a big positive. The other one was Jack Higgins kicking 4. For Higo, it's all about goals. He's not the ultimate pressure forward like a Dan Butler, who had 9 tackles, the most on the ground, and had the most inside 50 tackles. But he kicked 4, Higo, and that's all we needed from him. And it was really, for me, it was just pleasing because he had the game last time against Sydney when we probably should have won. And he had so many shots. We missed a lot of shots. He missed a lot of shots. It was heavily publicised. That's when I did my video the next day about player mental health and how the media have a big say in that and why they would target one player when a whole team is part of the result. And to see him bounce back and kick 4-1 off the back of 1-5 the last time we played, and to get the win as well was awesome. And you just love seeing Higo play the way he does, and he's kicking snags on his left foot, on his right foot. It's just awesome to see. All of the smalls did their job. Butler, like I said, he had 9 tackles in the game. He had 4 or 5 inside 50. He didn't kick a goal, but what he did was make up for it by pressuring and chasing and tackling. That's Saints footy. That's Dan Butler from 2020, minus the goals. But that's a start. The other small forward was Dean Kent, who I was pretty surprised that he even retained his position in the team. I'll put my hand up and say I thought he should have been dropped ahead of Ben Long, but he knew that there was pressure on him because he was next in line to be dropped if he didn't perform, and he did. He kicked 3. He had 16 disposals. He was all over the ground. He was leading up. He for a small forward, he leads up, he presents, he takes big marks. The commentators always mix him up for Tim Membry. That's the type of game that he plays. But I love that he got on to the end of a few tonight. He kicked a nice snap. He got a free kick late that sealed the game. He gets under the skin of the opposition. That's all you want from him. For Higgins and him to combine for 7 goals was awesome. And that really did set the tone for the day, that it wasn't going to be the stars of the show that delivered. It was going to be a bit of Saints footy from everyone. And you look at Dan Mckenzie's game, selfless. He had 19, 20 disposals for the game, but he's intercepting marks. He's setting up Max King. He's tackling. He's chasing. He's getting his bloody Guernsey ripped off early in the game. He brings that grunt, that pressure, but he also brings elite run. And that's what we did all day. We did not stop running. And the big in this week was Jack Sinclair, off half back. And he did that. He and Brad Hill generated so much drive off the back half that we missed so much last week. And I said it last week that maybe we didn't realise that Sinclair being out was going to be such a big factor in the way that we play. And it changed the way we played last week. And him coming back into the lineup changed the way we played for the better this week. It supported and complemented Brad Hill perfectly. But what it also did was what we got from Highmore and Caulfield with their intercept marks, it meant that we had Sinks and Hill running past them for the hands. So it's great. It's all well and good when you get intercept marks and that stops the opposition. But what's the point of getting an intercept mark if you don't have players that can create drive and turn that intercept mark into an attacking passage of play? They're useless otherwise. But we had that perfect combination. Caulfield came in and there's talk of him leaving and being traded and whether he's justified being a first-round draft pick and his form being up and down. But tonight, that was 20-20 Cough. He did exactly what he did last year. He intercept marked, but when he did that, he was always on the move. He generated his own attacking passages. He didn't need to handball to anyone. I love that. He backed in his kicking, his marking, and the one thing I think when I think of Caulfield at his best, I think of when he's getting tackled, he doesn't go down. He is shifting. They're trying to tackle him, but his hips are too strong. He's always moving, and he moves in a way where he loses the tackler, but he's moving to the direction that he wants to run into as well. He's not running like a headless chook, which he's been probably questioned of doing a few times this year. Tonight, he had a purpose, and like Sinclair and Hill working together, him and Highmore complemented each other perfectly. And when you're missing Dougal Howard and you've got an undersized Kel Wilkie on a Lance Franklin, who's one of the all-time best full forwards of the last decade, or all-time, like I said, you keep him to 1 goal by doing that. It's not going to be all Kel Wilkie. It's going to be Highmore, Caulfield. It's going to be everyone supporting. And the only way we could have done that was the midfielders lifting. And last week, they were a big reason why Carlton kicked a big score, because the midfield pressure was not there. It was non-existent. They let Walsh and Cripps run through the middle and do whatever the hell they wanted, to be honest. But tonight, in my preview, I'll take full credit for this. In my preview, I said, the way we beat Sydney is to congest the middle of the ground and stop that. Because what does that do? That stops them from getting through the midfield and getting to the other end of the ground in less than 3 kicks. Less than 3 kicks, and it's a fast game. They're getting it to Buddy one-on-one. It doesn't give Highmore and Caulfield time to set up for the intercept, but it also doesn't give our midfield time to get back and defend that ball going inside 50. But if you have players blocking that first kick into the middle of the ground, it means the next level pushes back. it supports Highmore and Caulfield, and it allows them to leave their direct opponent to support Cal Wilkie for when that long ball goes into Buddy Franklin, which is inevitable because that's what Sydney do. And it means that we rebound from there. So we played the game perfectly. The game was played on our terms from start to finish. We outcoached them. Credit to Brett Ratton, but also credit to all of the players on the field, all 22 of them, plus Bytel, who came on late, who were able to execute their game plan perfectly. You know, that it wouldn't have worked any other way. If you allow Sydney the corridor, you're either going to be in for a shootout and lose, or you're going to get absolutely pantsed. There's no way you can really win that game comfortably if you allow that. And you look at the game the week before. It was Sydney-Essendon. It was 102 points to 109 points. It was a shootout. Both teams went through the guts. Both teams didn't even bother to defend the corridor. They opened it up. They allowed each other to go through there, and it was just a matter of who kicked more goals in the time allowed. In the end, it was Sydney. But tonight, we did not even allow them that. We stopped that. We made them kick sideways. We made them kick to packs, and that's where Marshall came into it and had a massive game. He had 25 disposals and 29 hitouts. He was the second or third ranked player on the ground behind Steele, and that's how good Steele's going. He's a superstar. You know, it'll be a big surprise if he doesn't finish top 5 in the Brownlow the way he's going. But it wasn't just about Steele. You know, there's too many games this year where it's Steele and then there's a big gap. Tonight, it was a level playing field. It was Steele above 30 disposals, but it wasn't a big drop-off. There was a lot of players in the high 20s, a lot of players in mid-20s and low 20s. There was only a handful of players, or less than a handful, that had under 10 possessions. So that's a really good sign. That means we're moving the ball well, we're spreading, and we're not relying on these players. We're allowing our boys to just play Saints footy, to play fast and clinical football. And I think the other factor we can't forget about this is we kicked straight. You know, we kicked 7 goals straight until the first point, I believe. And when you kick straight, it's funny what happens. You put yourself into a position to win the game. Sydney had a few chances. They missed a few. We go up the other end and we kick straight. You know, Sharman kicks goals from a tight angle. Higgins is kicking snaps on his left foot, on his right foot. Even Dean Ken's kicking goals, you know. So that's how well we were going tonight. But we don't want it to be a one-off. You know, we've got a big game next week against Geelong, and that's going to be the deciding factor whether we make finals or not. Geelong, we win, there's a chance we can beat Fremantle in the final game of the year and make finals. But if we lose, there's a chance we will probably be done, and the last game of the year, the result is irrelevant. We don't make finals. But tonight proves that our best beats anyone. Anyone. We beat Brisbane this way. We beat Richmond this way. We've now beaten Sydney this way, who everyone has talked about as a premiership smoky. So it's going to be interesting to see what the media talks about this week, whether it's going to be about how good we were or Sydney had a down night, because that's probably what I'm tipping. But tonight was absolutely all us. Our tackling pressure was immense, 67 tackles to 45. We had 18 inside 50 marks to 6. The game should have been done by three-quarter time, the way those stats are going. But, you know, Sydney are a great team. They always fight. And what I loved about tonight was that anytime Sydney did fight and get within a goal or under a goal, we composed ourselves and we got the next goal, then the next goal, then the next goal. And before you knew it, we were 5 goals up in the fourth quarter and the game was pretty much done. So it's a really proud, performance tonight. We played with heart, but we also played with skill, and that's a really good thing. Tonight wasn't just a pressure-based win, because we also went at 77% disposal efficiency. So when you look at that, it's just a winning formula. We get marks inside 50. We're leading up at the football, but we're kicking straight. But we're also tackling, but we're also setting up behind the ball and not allowing their best forward to get a run at it at all. So it was a perfect performance. So I could just go on and on about how well we played tonight, but I'd be repeating myself. So I'll leave it there, guys. I'll keep it short and sharp. But I just want to give a quick shout out to the Sainers that joined on FanCam. It's always hard when it's late at night, but thanks to everyone for joining and for watching, and for everyone watching this video as well. I really appreciate all the support on the channel across all of the social platforms. And hopefully you like this video as well. But I'll leave it there, guys. Thanks again for watching. Just a quick roundup of the result. It was a 93-64 win, a 29-point win. That puts us 11th on the ladder and 2 points outside the 8 thanks to the GWS win last night. So that might hurt us in the long run, but I think GWS have got a couple of hard games, as do we. But if we think we're good enough, we'll continue this form and put ourselves in the best position to make finals. But for tonight, it was a great performance. We're all very happy. Can't wait to watch the replay. And, you know, no better time than on a lazy Sunday tomorrow. So thanks again for watching, guys. Enjoy the rest of your weekends, and I'll see you next week when I preview the game against Geelong. Go you mighty Saners. Yes.